Richmond. Hello, Elaine. Thanks for ringing.
Oh, hello, darling. How lovely to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you. Tell me about this, because you've been teaching for years and years.
Yeah, I'm a private. I'm actually a performer and a singer, and I'm a vocal coach, and I teach girls, predominantly girls, sometimes young guys, who are wanting a decent vocal coach or singing teacher because they've got a talent. And they come from all sorts of local schools, you know, private and the state system, and they come to me for 45 minutes or an hour on a regular basis to find out what to do with their singing voice. And they sit in my little studio at my place, and without fail, music brings out emotion, as I'm sure you're aware.
Yes.
They suddenly, in the middle of trying a song, I turn round on my swivel chair and they're bawling their eyes out. And it's because of peer pressure, bullying, vicious behaviour, horrible reaction from the school who don't believe them or do nothing about it. And it's just rife.
And do you think it's appearance-based primarily?
Yes.
And what is it that they think they ought to look like, or who is it that's telling them they don't measure up, or what is it? You know, what's the role, for example, of social media in all of this? What's the role of their fellow pupils? Tell me what more you know about this, because it's so sad, isn't it?
I mean, I'm a mum of a gorgeous girl who actually was bullied herself when she was at school 15 years ago because she was very pretty. So everybody, all the other girls were vicious to her because she happened to be pretty. She didn't lord it about. So I had a bit of that in my own life. They tell me that the boys are very dismissive based on the way they look, and they have an impression of how a girl should look. But they tell me that worse than that, it's the girls. The girls on the whole, there's little groups. It sounds like Mean Girls, Vanessa.
It really does, doesn't it? Exactly.
Honestly,
like that. Yes.
And I can tell you that without fail, the girls that I am teaching are all lovely, young, in their mid to late teens, young women from nice varying backgrounds. They're all lovely girls who love the arts and music. You know, they're a creative, warm bunch of girls, and they can't cope with the atmosphere, with the porn on phones, with the things sent around the school. They tell me horrible stories, Vanessa. I'm sure you're aware.
Well, I am, because do you remember when it was all exposed, the kind of the sexual harassment inside schools, the way the boys were rating the girls, the demands to send nude pictures, then the picture will be circulated not just around the school but other schools and the whole neighbourhood and then the whole world, and you know, you were 14 and you're only doing it because a boy asked you to, and then you could never ever live it down, all that kind of stuff. It's just awful. What can you do, if anything, about it? What do you say to them, Elaine, when they're sobbing and they're meant to be singing?
Honestly, Vanessa, in my late 60s now, I'm a bit of a wise old bird, and I end up being a counsellor.
Yeah, but what do you say?
I reassure them that things will get better when they move on to college or university. I assure them that they're lovely human beings. I bolster them up and tell them that they've got an ability and a talent and they're quite special, and to try not to listen to it, and to talk. I often say to them, please go home and talk to your mum, you know, talk to your parents. If you've got older siblings, share it, don't store it up. I mean, I make cups of tea instead of teaching half the time.
Gosh, really, it's really, very, very sad, isn't it? And very worrying. Do you think this head teacher is right to take the mirrors out of the loos?
They do tell me, they have several times told me that the loos are a nest of vipers. They do say things like that to me.
Really?
And that they try. One of the girls I had, who I've just stopped teaching at 18, told me that she would hold a wee all day because there's no way she would go into the loos.
Goodness, because what? She'd be attacked in there or sort of ambushed in there?
No, just the horrible atmosphere. The vaping in there, the people who secretly got their phones. I mean, I said, well, you must go to the loo. You can't hold a wee all day. It'll make you poorly, you know. And she said, no, I do. I literally do. I'm nearly dying in the afternoon because I won't set foot in the loo, especially at lunchtime.
It's really terrible. Elaine, thank you so much for ringing. I'll just read you this from a teacher. Sarah says, I'm a teacher. Toilets in school often now are set up so sink area is open, and this reduces bullying. It's talking about the same thing. Teachers on duty can monitor the area. No mirrors as it's an open sink area. Students can carry a small mirror, though, and many girls do. All right, we'll come back to that in just a second. We thought we'd segue into this for a minute. Generation Z or Gen Z men lack the DIY skills of older generations. Only a third of them can change a bulb. Only a third of Gen Z men feel confident changing a light bulb. Are you a Jack or Jill of all trades and blah, blah, blah. But Gen Z women are much more confident in their DIY skills than men of the same age. So almost half of Gen Z women said they're confident about painting and decorating, for example, and just 28% of men said they were. Let us discuss this with Nina Oltazowska, who is an artist and teacher of the Feminist Welding Club. I just love the idea of a Feminist Welding Club. It sounds like such a great idea. Tell me about DIY and all the sorts of things that we're supposed to have learned at our mum and dad's knees, aren't we?
Well, I didn't personally learn anything from my mum and dad's knees at all. I went to university and developed a keenness for working with my hands, and that's how I got into it. And I was encouraged. I was in a space that encouraged me to explore those areas. So that's how.
Did you go straight for welding? Was that the thing that held the sort of enchantment for you? You decided welding was your field?
I did some casting first, mold making and casting quite a bit, but welding stuck for me. Yeah, it's something I felt I could get better at.
What do you weld? I mean, what does one weld? I can understand it kind of if you're in the car industry, you might be welding, but just for sheer personal fun, what are you welding?
So it depends, but I weld some installation work for my own practice. So it's usually the scale of man, so that they can interact with it. But I also weld furniture. I've had furniture commissions for small businesses. All sorts of things really, hooks and brackets and fixtures and.
God, how amazingly handy and wonderful of you to be able to do this kind of thing. Tell me about the more mundane things, the changing of the plug, the changing of the tyre, the painting and decorating, the grouting, those sorts of things that we can all really do with being able to do. Only it seems that at Gen Z, nobody seems to be able to do any of it, and men are even worse at it than women.
To be honest, I don't even drive, so for changing a tyre, I can't really answer the question. But in terms of grouting or anything like that, I don't know. I feel like if I set myself a challenge, I can do it. If I have access to the right resources, if there's a video about it, if I'm conscientious enough and I take it in properly, then I can really do it quite well.
Tell me about your Feminist Welders Club. I mean, you all show up, and then what happens?
I teach it, and I have a selection of women, non-binary people, trans people who sign up, and I teach them how to weld. We get in a room together, I explain what welding is, what types of welding correspond to what materials. So you can only use MIG welding for steel, for example, things like that. I take them through different types of welding, and then we get to practicing, and they get to welding for 2 or 3 hours in a room.
What's the general verdict after a good 3 hours of welding? They feel that they've really what?
There's a sense of personal achievement, something that they never thought that they'd be doing in their lives, for a lot of people who come to this. But also just a sense of pride in what they've made. So we often make a little candle holder, or just another little object that they can keep in their house, and often there's a really good feeling around that. So it's nice, it's really wholesome.
I don't know whether I've ever conducted an interview with a feminist welder before, but I'm telling you, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's an absolute pleasure to meet you, and I actually wish people could see you, because the bright smile on your face lights up your features when you discuss welding. And I mean, I had not known that welding would elicit this level of kind of passion and euphoria, but I'm prepared to learn these things. And it's very, very nice to learn. Do you think that I should take up feminist welding? Do you think it's the thing that's been missing from my life? Because it certainly is missing from my life. I've certainly never done it.
Give it a try.
Yeah?
Give it a try is what I'll say. It's really fun. I find it really liberating. It also makes you feel like there's a lot you can take control of in terms of your own life and what you work on. So I don't know. I just think it's very empowering. So
I could do with that. I could do it being empowering. Listen, thank you very much indeed, Nina. Real pleasure having you on the show. Thank you, Nina, the artist and teacher of the Feminist Welding Club, and you did hear that correctly. This is from John, who says removing the mirrors from the school toilet may well reduce congestion and to a certain extent bullying. However, it neglects the fact that most kids nowadays have a camera phone with a camera that acts as a mirror. And Isla says, my school has no mirrors either, other than in the PE changing rooms. And I think it's good because the toilets then don't get as crowded. Nearly everyone carries a pocket mirror anyway. It doesn't make any difference with people worrying what they look like at school either. I'd like to hear more from you. I'd like to hear about whether people at your school are very worried indeed about what they look like, whether it really is a worrying thing. And Suzanne says that during school time, I don't think you get that much free time to be in the toilet. It's not time to be doing your makeup and doing your hair. Many fights break out in the toilets. If they break the glass in the mirror, that would be dangerous. Everyone's got a phone. They can look at themselves on the phone, should they so desire. We're going to be taking your calls on this straight after this break. Vanessa Feltz here on LBC. It's 5:45.
Coming up at 6 on LBC, Claire Foges.
Today, the far left Your Party opted not to pick Jeremy Corbyn as their leader. Have they lost an electoral asset? And do you think trial by jury should only be used for the most serious crimes?
Claire Foges at 6. Listen on our free Global Player app or our new LBC app.
When you're smiling. Banning Dental Group Clinics. With over 5,000 top-rated Google reviews. Keep on smiling.
When you buy a BMW approved used electric car, there are no surprises. You'll find the largest range and the widest choice. Naturally, every car has been meticulously checked by qualified BMW technicians. Hardly a plot twist. And they always come with a battery health report and at least 12 months unlimited mileage BMW warranty. Just as you'd expect. BMW approved used electric cars. Nothing new here. Search BMW approved used electric. Obviously.
How's the business going? We're busier than ever, but struggling to get the staff we need. Recruiting can be such a distraction. We gave Job Centre Plus a try, and they've really helped us out.
Really?
Yeah, it was dead easy. We got our own employer advisor, Julie, who helped advertise our jobs, shortlisted candidates for us, and let us interview at the Job Centre. We've hired some great people, and Job Centre Plus really took the hassle out of it, and there was no fee.
Brilliant. That's straight on my to-do list.
Find out more at business.gov.uk/recruit. Eligibility criteria apply.
Angela Rippon, what are you doing here?
I've come to tell you about using energy flexibly, Albert.
Flexibly?
Yes, smart meter owners could get rewarded for moving their energy use, like doing the laundry at off-peak times.
So I don't need to do the splits?
No, Albert. Nobody wants to see that.
Get rewarded for using energy flexibly, only with a smart meter. Search Get a Smart Meter today.
Eligibility and availability vary. Consumer action required. Reward schemes and tariffs available to selected customers from selected suppliers.
Pets in a Pickle. We're here when it matters most. For fuss-free pet insurance policies as unique as they are. Visit petsinnapickle.co.uk.
This is LBC with Vanessa Feltz.
And we're taking your calls on the school that's removed mirrors from the loos. Claudia's on the line in Camberwell. Hello, Claudia. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, I just want to say, why are parents allowing their kids to go to school looking too pretty? Pretty hairstyle, makeup, everything like that, yeah? And I think we need to go back to school uniforms being purchased from a school uniform shop, yeah?
Yes.
It's a grey jumper, it's got not grey Nike, not grey Adidas, all these brands, nothing like that, yeah? Plain black shoes to school. They're going to school too pretty.
You can't really stop the hairstyles, though, and the makeup, can you? I mean, you can get them all in the same clothes, but they're still gonna, the pretty ones are still gonna dress up, aren't they, and look pretty?
The problem is, some of them, they look like their mothers, yeah? Some of them, their mums are probably, I don't know what ages they are. I'm kind of old-fashioned, and I used to tell my daughter, she's nearly 20, I said, listen, you see, when you go to school, all right, if you've got to look a certain way, it's got to be a little bit more conservative. When it was out of school and it was holidays, if she wanted to put, maybe pink extensions in or something like that, or do a little funky hairstyle, I allowed her to do that. But you see, when you're going to school, it's like when you're going to work, you have a certain look, a little bit conservative. But nowadays, as I said, the girls are going to school too pretty. We've got to take all this, I know a young girl, 14, I think she was 14 at the time, 13, you want to see the big lashes. The extended
I'll tell you. If you want to talk about lashes, I'll talk to you about lashes. So yesterday, I was presenting this show on LBC, so I was sitting in this very chair, but I knew that I was going up to Birmingham on a train. I was going to have to get a limo bike to get to the station on time, because you can't even get in a train anymore. You can't get in a tube because it's so busy here. And all I was worrying about was my lashes the whole afternoon. In the end, in between each break of the show, I had to go next door where Mylene Class, my very good pal, is presenting her show, and get her to stick my false eyelashes on for me. And
there's my point.
Yeah, so there's your point.
The point I'm trying to make is,
yes.
If you're going to school, going to school looking pretty, you're concerned about your look.
True.
We need to take this whole self out of it. You're going to school to learn. If everybody looks the same, you're not wearing Nike, you're not wearing Adidas, you're not got this curly fringe or all this nonsense. They need to take the self out. And it's such a shame, I don't know what it's coming to.
Did you feel that your daughter was under great pressure to look a certain way and be pretty and all that kind of stuff?
I think towards maybe I'd say 12 and 13, when you start to try and, experiment with makeup and things like that. Because at some point, there's only so much you can do to say, look, don't do this, it's the way, guidance. It's more of a guidance thing. But, but you're seeing them in year 7, 8, 9. No, it's too much. It's too much. And I don't know how the parents are allowing it. But like I said, some of them, when you see the mums, you can't blame the girls.
Did you wear makeup? Were you allowed to wear makeup at school?
I didn't want to wear makeup at school.
Gosh, I did. We had boys on the coach. Boys were in the school next door. I wanted to I wanted to be plastered in the stuff.
Even now, I don't mind saying my age. I'm in my 50s.
Yeah.
And I'm still not a makeup girl. When I'm ready, I'll put it on when there's a time and a place. There's a time and place, and I always tell my daughter, listen, there's what's the word? I've taught her that there's a time for everything. Wait. And she's very,
nice
very
to talk to you. Lots of people will think you're very sensible indeed, and it's excellent advice. Thank you. Let's talk to Anne in Westerham. Hi, Anne.
Hi, Vanessa. Thank you, first of all, for having me on your show. You're a fabulous woman.
Oh,
I love you.
Blimey. Thank you very much indeed. My head's getting bigger and bigger. Thank you so much. Tell me about the mirrors in school, Luz, and whether this is just human nature or whether it's got more intense now. What's going on?
So, well, first of all, I loved your previous caller. She's fantastic. Yeah. And also my heart went out to Maria.
Yeah, poor thing. Marie, she's had an awful time, yes.
Beautiful woman. So I think it's a really honourable sort of strategy that this head teacher is taking. I think, why not? Okay, first of all, what's the downside? My question would be, how is she going to measure the success of this once she implements it? Which it sounds like she already has. And the other thing I was thinking about is that you're quite right. Yeah, on a developmental scale, it's not something that we can actually stamp out. Certainly in young women, it's what we do. We kind of at developmental stage, we kind of compare ourselves to one another. We can't help ourselves. So it's not a bad thing either, as in that growing stage. We're kind of finding our feet, and so boundaries are really important. I say this because I went to an all-girls convent school.
Right.
So, the nuns were quite strict. There was no makeup allowed. There was there was barely any tights allowed, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
It was really, really strict, but it didn't stop certain young girls kind of pushing the boundaries, and then they found out where the rules were, and that was really, really a real learning curve, really. So, do you know what? I think the worst thing we have at the moment are smartphones. Not mirrors, it's smartphones.
Tell me that when you were growing up and when you were pushing the boundaries and when you were sort of trying to find your place in the world and see where you fitted in and compare yourself with other girls to see, who you were and what you were and everything else. Did you feel pressure to look a certain way? Were there some girls who were acknowledged as the beautiful ones and others who were not? Was there bullying? Was there pressure? Or because it was a convent and the nuns were so strict, was it kind of pushed to the side and nobody dared think about it? What was actually going on?
Yeah, the thing was makeup was kind of frowned upon. So makeup was frowned upon. All of that stuff was, even though, I didn't have great skin when I was growing up. I don't mind telling you, but so I wanted to wear makeup, and I wasn't allowed to. It was, it was as soon as I rocked up with some foundation on, I was told to take it off immediately. So you kind of just fell into that sort of acceptance that, well, this is the way it is. Comparison making with the other girls who are often quite glamorous and lovely, and the boys' school was down the road, so we didn't have much interaction with boys. So I think that makes a difference. So I think co-ed schools, there's a bit more pressure. I think girls probably feel a lot. I'm speaking because I am a girl, so a woman now, of course. But you're more self-conscious because the boys are around. So you kind of do want to make yourself a little bit more attractive. It's human nature. We can't fight against it.
God, I know. Boy, did I try, though. I really tried at school. Black tights and high heels. I had to hide in a bush because my mother would have gone mad. Constantly being sent to Miss Gover to have my nail varnish taken off with acetone in the chemistry lab. I was still fighting because the boys were there. They were right there. They were on the coach. I didn't want to just go there with a scrubbed face and looking like a frizzy head. I wanted to be an attractive. I wanted to be a temptress. I still do. I wanted to be. I wanted to be a femme fatale from the age of about 11. I just wanted them to fall at my feet. I wanted to be Zuleika Dobson. I needed all the help I could get. God, I used to turn my cuffs back on my... So we had these ghastly kind of what they call petrol blue, but it was a horrible green-coloured jumpers with a shirt underneath. I used to put the cuffs back over the jumper, then kind of hoik the arms up to show an enticing flash of wrist, that kind of thing. I mean, I did everything. I could, everything. Very, very difficult. Lovely to hear from you, Anne. Thank you. Let's talk to Zion, first-time caller in Colchester. Hi, Zion.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. Tell me about taking the mirrors out of the school toilets. What do you think?
I don't necessarily think it's going to make much of a difference. I'm young myself. I'm 19. I left college and school recently.
Yeah.
I went to school in inner city London. I've been to school out here in Essex.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, regardless of the environmental factor, bullying will always happen. In my school, bullying didn't have anything to do with mirrors or not. Loitering had nothing to do with mirrors. It had to do with people wanting to vape in the toilets or fight in the toilets. It had nothing to do with the mirrors. From my personal, from my experience.
Really?
So I think mirrors are important. Having the ability to make yourself look presentable before each class. That's what I think, anyway.
Yeah, and do you think that there's same pressure on boys to look a particular way? They're being judged on how you look. You are the attractive one, you're not the attractive one. There's that guy over there's the one that everyone fancies. It's not you, it is you. I mean, I don't know, I can't see you, I've got no idea. But do you feel that kind of pressure? Did you at school?
I personally think the good thing about the female community in the schools and stuff is they're always saying each other looks pretty on a lot of parts. In the male community, it's like you're getting dissed for every little thing, every little imperfection you're getting bullied on. Whilst I don't really see that from my female colleagues in college. So I think it's a lot harder for guys, especially guys who may have who may struggle with their weight or their height. They're going to be picked on, I think, a lot more than a girl if she has maybe short hair or a few freckles or whatever. Because where I'm from, I've not really seen girls get bullied. It happens, but from my point of view, it doesn't really happen as much as the guys. When I was in school, guys would get bullied every day for things they couldn't even help, like if they had braces or they had to wear glasses.
Was there any sort of school policy about it? Was there meant to be some protocol where, it'd be dealt with in a particular sort of way? There's meant to be in every school these days, isn't there?
Well, the school I went to, if it was out of sight, it was out of mind.
Really?
Like the teachers would, smoke with some students at the back of the school. They would buy drugs from the students.
What?
Or if there's fights in the toilets, they'll look away and stuff like that. So I went to quite a rough school.
But sounds like it.
Rough schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a few rough schools, I'll tell you that now.
I believe you completely.
I've seen a lot of bullying. And it has nothing to do with the mirrors.
Really? And tell me something about how you are now. How are things going now? You're 19. How's it going?
Well, I'm 19. I run my own landscaping firm. We do patios, grounds maintenance, stuff like that.
Do you?
So,
wow.
I try to hire quite inclusively based on merit and not about, looks or appearance, really. So
and how's it going? Is it going okay?
Yeah, it's going all right. And this is a tad on your other question about DIY, because I work in the trades. I work in the trades. I see maybe one female to about every 14 or 15 guys on site.
Yeah.
So maybe that can kind of, answer the question a little bit on that.
Yeah, so whatever they found, you would not really agree with, and it's not borne out with what you see. Listen, I wish you all the luck in the world with your business. What's it called, just in case anyone wants to have a look?
G&G Gardening Services.
G&G Gardening Services. Are you on Instagram?
We're on Instagram. It's GG_Gardening Services.
Okay.
And we're on Facebook. We've got a website as well, gggardenservices.co.uk.
Zion, all the luck in the world with it. I hope you go from strength to strength, and I thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. Call me anytime. It's always a pleasure. Thank you very much. All right, if you missed any of today's show, you can listen back on Catch Up on both Global Player and the brand new LBC app, where you can stay up to date with all the latest news and opinion. Put your news categories in the order you want. Pause, rewind live radio, listen to a range of podcasts, including Help, My Charles Anxious. Download the all-new official LBC app for free from your app store now. Coming up at 9 on LBC, it's the Consumer Hour with Dean Dunham. But first, Claire Foges.
Thanks, Vanessa. Coming up at 8, David Dimbleby says that King Charles should work harder to stay out of politics. Do you agree? Or maybe you like the fact we have a monarch with opinions and ideas. At 7, former Justice Secretary Michael Gove says that cutting trial by jury will be an assault on liberty. Do you agree? Or is this vital to speeding up access to justice? But first, there's a new omni-shambles in town called Your Party, judging by their conference this weekend anyway, where co-leader Zara Sultana boycotted her own event. Does this shambles confirm that the far left will never get its act together?
On your radio, on the LBC app, and
Play LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
From Global's newsroom at 6 o'clock, the Prime Minister is expected to give his backing to the Chancellor's budget in a speech tomorrow. It's thought he'll say the statement will help to alleviate the cost of living, lower inflation and ensure economic stability. Rachel Reeves has been accused of downplaying the state of the economy so she could raise taxes. The OBR told her in September that the public finances were in a much better shape than widely thought. Luke Francis is a PR expert and a former Labour special advisor. He's told Vanessa Rachel Reeves is being accused of delivering a budget that made her party look good.
The Chancellor may have taken a political judgment decision that actually rolling the pitch, preparing people for far worse fiscal decisions than became apparent on Thursday, meant that she could pull the rabbit out of the hat, stabilise the markets, give Labour backbenchers some of the policies that they wanted to see, which would have been a political masterstroke had the OBR not decided to drop this bombshell.
Ukrainian delegates are in America for talks to find a way to end the war in Ukraine. The US Secretary of State says he's hopeful more progress will be made during these discussions. It follows an overnight attack on Kyiv, which killed at least one person and wounded 19 others, including 4 children. The number of people killed in a huge fire at an apartment complex in Hong Kong has risen to 146. At least 100 people are still missing. Fire officials say it could take up to 4 weeks to complete the search. Major changes to the justice system in England and Wales will be announced in the coming week. Justice Secretary David Lammy says once-in-a-generation reforms are needed to deal with a crippling backlog in courts. It's claimed he's looking at scrapping juries in all but the most serious cases. Wendy Joseph, KC, is a former Old Bailey judge. She's told LBC it would be a very bad move.
Judges may be very good at the law and they may be quite clever people. That doesn't make them any better at finding facts and assessing where the truth lies than anybody else. So if you take away the jury system, you've got one mind working on the problem. If you have the jury system, you've got 12 people.
Jeremy Corbyn's Your Party has voted against having him as its leader and opted to be led by its members instead. Delegates have voted to have a committee of members in charge. There was a big cheer as the result was announced at the conference in Liverpool. LBC Weather, there's an amber warning in place for parts of Wales. Nearly a month's worth of rain is expected to fall in the next 24 hours. For the rest of the country, it's going to be mostly dry and bright this evening. There could be strong winds and rain by the morning, a high of 11 degrees. From Global's newsroom for LBC, I'm Emily Lang.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Claire Foges.
Good evening and and welcome to the show. So good to be with you again today, this Sunday, the 30th of November. I'm Claire Foges, and we have a lot to talk about this evening, starting with the Your Party conference. Your Party. Have you heard of Your Party? It's a bit of a confusing name, isn't it? Your Party. Oh, my party? You mean Reform, or you mean Labour? No, not Your Party. Your Party is the name of the new party formed by Jeremy Corbyn and the former Labour MP Zara Sultana. It's been their conference this weekend, and I would just like to say thank you, really start off with thank you to Your Party for providing us with a bit of light relief. It's been quite a difficult week, hasn't it, for many? Not only Rachel Reeves herself, all those millions were reeling from her budget too. We needed a laugh, didn't we? And the Your Party crew certainly provided it this weekend. Here they were, getting ready for their first big conference, first time in the limelight at the very fag end of conference season. This was their chance to show that they're not a bunch of loony lefties, but a professional outfit, very well organised and so on, united in purpose. But what's this? Zara Sultana, who founded the party, one of the co-founders of the party, boycotted the first day. Even for this lot, that is quite funny, isn't it? I do know they love a boycott, don't they? But to boycott your own event, why did Sultana do it? Because she was standing in solidarity, of course. It was solidarity with some people who weren't allowed into the conference because it was said they were members of another party. Now, it's a bit shambolic the way it's all been handled, because it was a bit chaotic, really. There were disagreements over whether they should have been allowed in or not. So Sultana, here she is saying that that it was a witch hunt going on.
This should have been decided by our members. It should not have been a decision made at the very top by nameless, faceless bureaucrats. That is not the democracy that we want for this party.
Nameless, faceless bureaucrats, she's saying, locked out these members of the Socialist Worker Party. So there she was outside her own conference, the inaugural conference of the party that she had founded only a few months ago. And I'd love to talk to you about Your Party this evening and whether the shambles of Your Party's conference suggest that the far left is really never going to get its act together. I don't know what to call it, far left, hard left, it's all relative, isn't it? I suppose it's certainly not the centrist left, so we're going to call them, maybe you might call them true left, the true holders of the flame of socialism and so on. But whatever you want to call them, are they going to get their act together? Does it look like it? Do you see them having any electoral success? And today they made a rather interesting decision to go for a collective leadership model instead of a one single leader as we're used to in a political party, thus denying them of Jeremy Corbyn's star power. Now, say what you like about Jeremy Corbyn, but he's a name, isn't he? He is admired by large numbers of people. So have they shot themselves in the foot by not choosing Corbyn as leader? And speaking as someone outside the left politically, I'm interested to know from you why you might vote for your party and not the Green Party. What's the difference? Do you see these two parties combining together to really see off reform next time? What do you think might happen? It's very interesting, isn't it? Because the policies exhorted by both these outfits, both the Green Party and Your Party, are actually pretty popular. A wealth tax, there's overwhelming public support, I should say, for a wealth tax on the super rich. A YouGov poll found that 75% of Britons would support an annual tax of 1% on assets over £10 million and 2% on assets over £1 billion. This is strong across party lines, whether you're talking to a Labour voter, Conservative voter, Reform, whatever. This is a winning policy. It's also the policy of Your Party and of the Green Party. They're big on keeping the NHS fully public, another highly popular left-wing proposal. 51% of the public support it. There's strong support, consistent public support for nationalising utilities like water, energy, railways and so on. There is the stuff there, isn't there, of major electoral success, but somehow it always seems to dissolve into chaos and factionalism. And I would think, my personal view is it's because the egos always get in the way. Those on the left, they're meant to be in it for others, aren't they? In it for the good of their fellow man, but frequently displayed themselves to be the most self-regarding of politicians around. And there's a perfect example this weekend in Zara Sultana. It's quite hilarious, really, that she had proposed that there should be a co-leadership model. So clearly she proposed something so that she and Corbyn could be co-leaders together. Then when that was off the table, when there was only two things on the table, collective leadership or solo leadership, I suppose, traditional leadership model, in which it was thought that Jeremy Corbyn would win out over her, suddenly she favoured the collective leadership model. Oh, so she only supports figureheads as long as she herself is a figurehead. But if it's going to be Jeremy Corbyn, her colleague, she doesn't want anything to do with it. That's just one example. I think so often ego gets in the way. And another reason I don't see them succeeding personally is because those on the far left often can't help obsessing over and focusing on a few of the most controversial policies, the identity politics stuff, transgender issues, Palestine. They, by nature, love a battle. I'm not saying it's wrong for them to be campaigning on these things, but I think often those on the far left can go towards those issues. They are magnetised towards those issues where they will have the greatest of battles, whether on social media or in real life, in a debate anywhere, because they want to sort of battle for what's right and virtuous. And so they bang on about the most controversial of their policies while neglecting the ones that most people really care about and could be persuaded on, like nationalisation. And before we speak to my guests, I just want to touch on, we were talking about Jeremy Corbyn there and whether they've lost this great electoral asset. Here he is being asked about...